welcome back, guys. I can't figure out how to do the face follow thing on this, so I'm just gonna have to make sure it's centered, and hopefully it is. But I recently had a conversation with my dad. Well, we just mentioned this quickly, but it was about how it's better to be immoral than it is to be amoral. Because you have moral, immoral, and amoral. And at very least, the moral people and the immoral people, they still have a code, a way they do things. And you can trust immoral people to be immoral. And you can trust moral people to be moral. You can't predict what amoral people are going to do, ever. And nowadays, we have so many amoral people. And I think the cows are going crazy right now. What we have, especially in the West and in America, because I care about America more than I do about Europe or Canada or Australia, is that it's not that we have so many more immoral people. It's that we have so many more amoral people. They're willing to swing this way, swing that way, not necessarily like to the left or to the right, Republican, Democrat, because that's overused. It's not just about that. It's also about how they're just not sticking to one thing. I could trust someone more who is super crazy into one politician or one political party or one specific idea, someone who's really invested in that and cares about it and actually has a code, even if they're insane and even if what they think is dumb, you can still trust them a lot more. Because, this is something that all great men have, is that they have this conviction towards their own beliefs, but they're also open to new ideas. And if someone only has convictions in their beliefs and isn't open to other ideas, you can still trust them a lot more than you can someone who's all over the place. And I think if you have a conversation with the average American nowadays, or average Canadian, average European, it's that, first of all, they're uninformed. They have no idea what's going on. They don't know anything. They're not even educated. They don't know where they are on the map, even. They don't know any basic history about their country's past, or actually any basic history about their ancestors, which I think is also very important. So they're uneducated, uninformed, which also makes it easier for people to sway their beliefs. But they also are all over the place. They're like, well, this guy who's this politician on this side said this, and I agree with him. But also this guy on this side, the opposite side, said something else, and I agree with him. And it's this constant low thinking, basically, where they're all over the place. They have no true ideas, no true beliefs. But that's the low end of the spectrum. You have people who are just being dumb, have no idea what's going on, are uneducated, and don't really care that they're uneducated, or don't even know that they're uneducated. That's the low end of the spectrum. The high end of the spectrum is incredibly dangerous people that are willing to bring the kulaks in, kill them. People who are willing to raid people's houses or support the people who raid people's houses to, for example, take their children, take their guns, or even basic things like attacks on this or attacks on that. People are willing to support anything that anyone in any position of power says you should do, which I think it absolutely goes that way for any politician on any side, at least in terms of the people who support them, because the people who support them have no idea of what those people did in the past, and they have no idea how the political system works. And I don't mean like, elections and how bills get passed. I mean, how they're all like anytime there's some way that they can truly benefit you and truly turn the country around or the state around, never, which is weird, right? Because there always, at least in some places, seem to be enough people to get a bill passed or to actually do something, yet nothing real ever changes, no matter who it is or what they're doing. So, first of all, there's that. Also, sorry, it's really dark out right now. It's starting to get dark. So I might be, I'm pretty dark right now. I'm going to go into a darker place for a few minutes. So I guess just listen to this part. But it's not just that though. That's part of it. Part of it is that they have no understanding that people in power don't actually want what's best for you. They don't want to turn the country around. Not really. But the other part of it is that we've seen firsthand what amoral people can do. And we haven't seen the worst of it yet. But in 2020, when we had all of the riots, for example, which is a great example, there was that one guy, I don't remember what state he was in. I thought it was like Oregon or Washington State. And he was in his bar, or his dad's bar, and the rioters came in and had this guy in a chokehold. Like, in that situation, it is completely self-defense to shoot that person. And he did. The guy was choking him. He shot right behind him, right behind his head, and killed that guy who was trying to choke him out. And then what happened? Basically, the DA said that he committed murder, even though it was clear self-defense. And then that guy killed himself. Because, he knows he's going to spend years and years in prison. And what's worse is not actually going to prison. It's the fact that he did nothing wrong. And he did the right thing, actually. But those people, those rioters, are the amoral people. They can be swayed this way or that way. Doesn't matter. And a lot of people think that they are a lot of those rioters or protesters are basically bought and forget what you call it, like actors. And I wouldn't be surprised if the protesters are, if some of them are. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the rioters were not actually part of the public. But the thing is, it's still amoral people doing terrible things. Burning cities down, burning private property down, killing people, injuring people, and scaring everyone. Then you have it on the other side, where there's also not that many moral people willing to actually defend themselves or say something or do something even, because all of that BLM stuff also got into the curriculum of schools. And I feel like parents are just now waking up to this sort of stuff on a bit of a larger scale, not because of the BLM stuff, which mainly started it, but because of the LGBTQ nudity stuff that's in schools now, in books in schools. It's not just the people doing evil things that are immoral. It's also the people that do nothing, that are amoral. I meant amoral, not immoral. Amoral. And I think actually some of the rioters are probably split amoral and immoral. And because honestly, you can trust some of those BLM rioters to be immoral, and you'll know they'll be immoral. But others you just don't know. But to me, those guys aren't the worst people. They're not the worst people, because I know they're gonna be bad. I know as soon as the next election comes, or as soon as there's another shooting involving a black person, they'll come out. and burn more stuff down. I know that. What I don't know is if people are going to support it or defend it. Because a lot of people went, well, I supported BLM until they started doing this. No, it's so, first of all, BLM is so obvious that there's no good intent in that. So why would you support it in the first place? Also, there's lots of statistics that can show you, I mean, the police are much worse in America, and my grandpa was a police officer for a long time, actually, and he was around back when they called it peace officers, not police officers, and his main job was not doing traffic stops or trying to do no-knock raids at 3 a.m. or really escalating situations. What he did was he went and walked around neighborhoods that he was supposed to be patrolling in. He spoke to people. He treated people with respect. And so many of the people that he arrested actually ended up respecting him and liking him. Even gang members, like bad guys, respect him and like him. Because he was trying to do the right thing. Actually trying to do the right thing. And now he looks at the police and goes, no, these people are awful. This is not what I served as a policeman for. Not at all. So there are bad policemen. And those guys, you can pretty much trust to be immoral. Especially nowadays, there's more and more bad policemen, more and more bad teachers, more and more bad doctors too. But there are also statistics to show that if a black person is getting shot by police, they're usually doing something not good at all. Like 90, I don't know, I'm not even gonna say it. Very high numbers, basically. They're doing something bad. And sorry guys, it's still very, very dark, but it's also pretty. But it's the people that do nothing that are the problem. Because do you want to be the person that doesn't have a moral code and is constantly willing to change their beliefs, to go along with people they don't know, politicians they don't know, and just go, well, they're doing it, so it's the right thing? No, you don't want to be that person. You want to be a man who says, this is what I believe. What is it called? The 17-Word Solution by Richard J. Maybury, I believe is who it's by. But if I can remember it correctly, it's do all you say you will do and do not encroach upon persons or their property. And I feel like that should be part of every man's moral code is, first of all, do what you say you will do because people will trust you. Also, you need to trust your own word. And then do not encroach upon people or their property is also very important because, I respect private property. I'm sure you do, because I don't want people coming on to my land. I don't want people encroaching upon me or my land, so why should you do that? So having basic moral beliefs, having a basic moral code is incredibly important for men. And if you don't do that, you're going to be the guy who's like, well, I supported BLM until they burnt down countless cities. It's like, why don't you actually look into what an organization like that does, where the money goes, and what they're actually trying to do, which is sell an idea, and the idea is leading towards a very dangerous Nazi-like path, really? And then go, no, I don't think I will support them. I don't think I will. But so many people cave to it because, and I hate saying cave because so many people use that word, so many people fall to it because their friends say, well, I agree with it, or politicians say, I agree with it, or their favorite entertainers say, I agree with it, I support it, until this, until this. No, don't listen to those people. Have your own code. Don't be amoral. Honestly, be immoral before you will be amoral. 100% of the time. I trust the outright evil person more than I do an amoral blob who's willing to just go along with anything and everything all the time. But anyway, guys, sorry it's super dark. Next time I'll try to film this a little bit earlier, but it's nice to do it around sunset. I hope you guys have a great day, and seriously, I've talked about this in many videos. Develop a moral code. Sit down one day, write down on a piece of paper what you believe. Could be 5 things, could be 100 different things. But you need to understand what you believe, not what other people believe or what other people want you to believe. You need to understand what you believe, and that will help you act in the real world. Because as men, you want to be as conscious as possible. You don't want to be unconscious. So if you can walk around the world knowing what you believe, and at any moment, no matter what it is, something super small or something very, very important, you always know what is necessary of you. Alright guys, I will see you guys next time.